Hello, welcome to the first edition of When Every Friend Asks You Questions. We fake.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Square Circle podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and on this unique episode, it is a Twitter Q&A in regards to AEW's stacked free pay-per-view called Fight for the Fallen, airing this Wednesday on TNT. So I took to Twitter. If you guys aren't already following me on Twitter, follow me at Marie_Shadows, where I asked to give me your best questions for this pay-per-view, Fight for the Fallen. I don't really do Q&As like that. This is the first time that I decided to open up and have you guys ask me the questions. And I will answer them. And this is what this amazing video / podcast is going to be about. It's going to be about the questions that I got from Wayne from SCW Wrestling, from Get Cho Comedy Wrestling Podcast, and of course, Everything Pro Wrestling as well. Every single person asked amazing questions and I gave amazing answers. And this is how it's going to go. All Elite Wrestling gives us another stacked free pay-per-view called Fight for the Fallen. This is their annual pay-per-view, and AEW CEO Tony Khan saying to fans on Twitter that this is his favorite pay-per-view. This year, they set up a fundraiser for the pandemic relief. If you have the capabilities of donating to the fundraiser, please visit AEWFightForTheFallen.com. On to the predictions. On Twitter, I posted to my fans and friends to ask me questions about the pay-per-view. The questions are good. I will also give slight insight into the matches. There's a total, for now, of 4 high-profile matches. But first, here's an honorable mention from Wayne. Who would you like to see Dustin Rhodes challenge Nick Aldis for the NWA title? Cody challenged for it and won. Now it's Dustin's time for a cross-promotion title match. I guess that his question was in regards of if Dustin had won the NWA title from Nick Aldis, who should face Dustin Rhodes for the title. So this is how I answered it. Thanks, Wayne, for the question. I honestly think if Dustin won the NWA title from Nick Aldis, he'll have a short reign like Cody. The only person that pops into my mind to face Dustin for the NWA title would be Ricky Starks. Doesn't Ricky Starks have that NWA flair? Again, thanks, Wayne. Now on to the match lineup. This is in no particular order. Number 1, Cody versus Sonny for the TNT Championship Open Challenge match. Number 2, Jon Moxley, who is our AEW World Heavyweight Champion, versus Brian Cage. I am not sure if the FTW Championship that Brian Cage now has from Taz is on the line. Lucha Bros versus FTR, the Elite versus Jurassic Express. Now, here's a question from SCW Wrestling Channel. I believe Wednesday will be the first day that the WWE releases from April will be able to debut on another show. Do you see any surprises debuts at AEW Fight for the Fallen? And here's my answer to that. Thanks, SCW Wrestling Channel, for the question. Only person, EC3. I've seen his videos float around on my timeline channel, and I have a confession to make. I haven't watched them. Judging from the reactions of our peers, they love the vignettes. However, I don't want any more surprise debuts on AEW in general, because AEW is starting to be a full house now. I don't want anyone to get lost in the shuffle. Our next question is from Get Your Comedy Wrestling Podcast. If Sonny Kiss were to win the TNT title, who do you want to see be his first feud? Or would a trilogy with Cody be better for Sonny if the Fight for the Fallen match is really good? And here is my answer to that. Thanks for the question, Getcho. This is an awesome question. In an alternate multiverse, Sonny Kiss's first feud should be with Joey Janela. I know, hear me out. I understand that they are currently a tag team, thus why it wouldn't be better for Cody and Sonny to have a trilogy for the TNT Championship, regardless of their match this Wednesday steals the show. So again, hear me out for this alternative multiverse explanation. What better way will a tag team survive and evolve if they don't fight against each other? Some tag teams survive regardless of this. However, how cool would it be if Janela felt some type of way of Sonny having the belt, challenges him, he wins it, and both will be crowned TNT champion holders, respectively. I know, my idea needs work. What would be a good feud for Sonny to have if he won the TNT championship? Due to the pandemic and Sonny currently in college, Sonny hasn't built enough for me to give a good answer. It's not Sonny's fault at all for not having enough interaction in AEW. Once schooling is done and he's on AEW more, I'll be able to talk about potential feuds. Our next question is actually a two-part question from Everything Pro Wrestling. The first question they ask is, what match are you most looking forward to? The second one, what 3 improvements would you like to see made to AEW? And this is my response. Thanks for the question, Everything Pro Wrestling. They always ask me the hard-hitting questions. Okay, this is going to be a lot. This is my answer to number 1, what match are you most looking forward to? I'm biased. The Elite versus Jurassic Express. The Elite are my guys. As for who's winning, it can be the Elite. The Elite know how to tag team. However, there's one important person missing from this equation. AEW, where's Hangman Adam Page? You know, our awesome alcoholic of a cowboy who does cowboy shit and is one half of the AEW tag team champions with Kenny Omega. For those that watch BTE, Hangman told something truthful to Matt and Nick Jackson. He told them, as much as I love you, I don't like you. And Hangman is nowhere to be found. Isn't Jurassic Express next to face Hangman and Kenny for the tag titles? And we have a 3-man tag team match? Interesting. So I'm invested in this match because it came out of left field. There's no build-up. There's no prior to having this kind of matchup. I understand to give the tag team champions a rest. However, Kenny is still fighting. Maybe Hangman decides to mess the matchups since he's the odd one out. So I want to say the Elite wins. However, Jurassic Express may get the victory due to Hangman interference. Side note. Does anyone think it's a coincidence that Hangman and Kenny formed a tag team because of Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi? Tanahashi is the veteran of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Kota Ibushi is the wild one, yet puts on amazing matches that he has a handful of wins and losses. Tanahashi once told Ibushi to get rid of his God complex. There's no need for that in pro wrestling. Hangman has an aggressive attitude lately, doing risky, quick moves that often gets him to be saved by Kenny Omega. Hangman also wants to be done with the matches quickly now. Kenny tries to control the pace of the match since one wrong move can cost him the titles. And judging by their last interaction on BTE, Kenny is the one to try and smooth things over before a war is unleashed. That's what Tanahashi would do too. So yeah. Now, my answer to the second question from Everything Pro Wrestling, what 3 improvements would you like to see made to AEW? 1, stop having 15 minutes of feuds. I'm feeling like feuds move too quickly. The Elite is doing it right when it comes to storytelling, and even though their past rivals focus on another story, it always ends up back to being full circle. What I'm tired of seeing is whenever Cody has a feud and after that final chapter is written, that's it. It's time to move on to the next. I forget his feuds quicker than the Elite. I don't hate Cody. Cody is an amazing person. Met him in person. He gave me advice. But I know that Cody can put together a good match and story. His fiery passion always shines through. However, why does the feud have to end? Perfect example. Lance Archer. Lance Archer always dominated in every promotion and even held championships. So why didn't this loss to Cody for the first ever TNT championship break him mentally? They could have created vignettes of him and Jake Roberts doing a lot of manipulation and psychological warfare against Cody. Of course, Cody would act like it doesn't bother him, but it does. And some actions happen because of it. Like continue with that story because it was too quick and sudden for Lance versus Cody to happen. Number 2, the women of AEW need their own BTE spinoff. The women of AEW don't get enough credit for being a solid foundation for all elite wrestling. Instead, all of us, including myself, complain about the women. I honestly need the women to have fun and train together. I need to feel that sisterhood, and I need them to be unapologetic in the ring. Accidents will happen in the ring, but that's what you sign up for. I've noticed that the women have counted the timing of a spot rather than making it look natural and effortless. If the women aren't trained together at the same time, having practice matches like the men, how would they ever be on the same level as the men? The men treat training as a brotherhood, and I want that for the women too. If the women of AEW have a BTE spinoff, it'll show personality, character, passion, and stories can develop. It won't be no Total Bellas. Fuck that show. So yeah, having their own BTE spinoff, it'll create time for them if they aren't booked on AEW Dark and Dynamite. Here's my third answer. The third AEW show should be special. I enjoy AEW Dark and originally thought it would be a proving ground type of show. Now AEW Dark is getting stacked with matches after matches after matches, some with stories and some without. AEW Dark has become muddied, but it still delivers. If and when AEW produces the third show, it should be dedicated to the women and their stories so they don't get lost in the shuffle of the most prominent men and their storytelling on Dynamite and maybe Dark. That's what I would like to see improved within AEW. Thank you guys for asking those questions. It was fun. Now, before we wrap up, here are my picks. Cody versus Sonny. I have Cody retains the TNT Championship. Twitter is going crazy to have Warhorse fight Cody for the TNT Championship up next. However, where's the love for my client, JD Alpha, the man who has never played WWF No Mercy? When will he get a TNT Championship title match? The second match will be Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage. I do not see Brian Cage getting the AEW World Heavyweight Championship title just because he has the FTW Championship at the moment. So Jon Moxley will probably be retaining this Wednesday if he happens to show up, if he feels he's medically okay to show up, and if they clear him and if he's negative of COVID and everything like that, if he shows up. Jon Moxley does not have to push himself to perform for us if he's sick. There's no need to infect other people. But Jon Moxley is a very smart man. He would figure out what to do. However, like I said, I don't see Brian Cage getting the title, so Jon Moxley will retain. The first tag team match, I say that FTR will win just because of the old school tag team wrestling style and rules. The Lucha Bros wrestle a Mexican style tag team of rules, which makes no sense. If you've ever been to a live independent wrestling show and you've seen Lucha Libre, most of the time those matches don't make sense. I've been front row many times watching a Lucha style match and I'm like, it looks great, guys. It's all flashy. Who's the legal man? Even the referees do not know who the legal man is. So in a perfect world, FTR will win because they are old school tag team wrestling guys. However, it will be interesting if the Lucha Bros go over FTR, and that will bother them because FTR is the greatest old school tag team in history. Therefore, they will get a little bit unhinged, even though I really don't want to use that word, but unhinged going into their feud with the Young Bucks. Now, for the final fourth match, which is the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson versus Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt. I am biased. As much as I love Jurassic Express and love how far they've come and the story that they're building for themselves is fantastic, the Elite are my guys. The Elite will go over. However, we could definitely see Hangman come in, mess up the match, and there goes the victory over to Jurassic Express. So that one is going to be up in the air, but I'm leaning for the Elite, but then I'm also leaning for Hangman to come in and mess it up. All right, guys, what did you think of this short little Twitter Q&A?
When every friend asks you questions, we fake.
About Fight for the Fallen and my picks. This was pretty fun to do. Again, guys, make sure you're following me on social media. I have an amazing passion project coming up. I got motivated and inspired to restart my wrestling fictional novel called Rookie. You could definitely read it over at squaredcirclepodcast.substack.com. You could also watch the videos, the visual novel videos that I will try to put together and have out every single Thursday over on the YouTube side of things, Square Circle Podcast on YouTube. I'm currently at 50 subscribers. Help me get to the 100 mark so that way I can actually name the channel instead of putting all those numbers and letters and making it crazy for you guys. If you aren't already, follow me over on Twitter. So that way, if I do another Q&A, you could be included in this Q&A awesome video podcast thing that I'm doing. Follow me at Marie_Shadows. All of your help, all of your support means everything to me. And I just want to have fun. I want to put out great value content, worthy content for you guys, and change up the wrestling scene a little bit. That's all I want to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys want more of these videos, and I'll see you guys over on Twitter. Yep. All right, guys, let's have a wonderful Fight for the Fallen this Wednesday.